Hi, I'm Mike Hoag of LILLIE House Permaculture. I'm a homesteader, landscaper, and forest gardener. Food forests might just be the next big thing. Everyone is falling in love with these gardens where we can grow food, fuel, craft materials, and medicines, all in self-maintaining, designed ecologies that look and function like a natural forest ecosystem. And because of that, they might just be the easiest way that you can have a garden. In fact, here at LILLIE House, we spend only a couple of hours a week to maintain almost a full acre of forest garden. And because our food system is the #1 cause of climate change, the #1 contributor to a bunch of social justice issues, and our #1 user of fossil fuels, it's not just something good that we can do for ourselves, it's also something good that we can do for society. The story of modern forest gardening began on a small holding in Shropshire, England, when a man named Robert Hart purchased a small holding farm with a tiny orchard in the Shropshire countryside. Robert was a caretaker for his brother, who suffered from health problems and a severe learning disability. He wanted to be able to care for his brother and provide a healthy diet and environment. But soon he found that the hard work of farming and maintaining an orchard were beyond his ability, while caring for his brother, and the farm and the orchard were overtaken with weeds. Yet, the wild trees and patches of perennial vegetables and herbs continued to thrive with little care. This observation quickly became the basis of his gardening, and a small forest on one lock edge, which provided a raw vegan diet for Robert and his brother, in addition to some basic income, soon became famous around the world. Well, if forest gardening is such a good idea, why didn't anybody think of it till now? It's impossible to say when forest gardens began. But when humans began to spread around the world, it appears we took the forest, the trees, and our forest associates, like the chicken, along with us. It's not difficult to imagine a family clearing a space of forest for a new home and hearing Grandma tell the kids, "Nope, not that tree. It has great fruit." Of course, a great fruit has viable seeds, and a family bringing home a bunch of good fruit, with no garbage service to take it all away, will soon be surrounded by new fruit trees. The same goes for medicinal herbs and vegetables. The family's work is just to pick out the best ones to keep around. In fact, it would seem difficult to argue that this kind of plant selection and gardening wasn't being done by the earliest humans. So it's easy to understand how such rich homesteads surrounded by these slowly evolved forests of useful trees, cultivated fruits and vegetables, useful companion animals, would have very naturally evolved and spread around the world to all the places they're found today. And increasingly, experts are pointing out that forest gardens and other agroforest systems are just about anywhere that you can grow trees. In this class, we'll try to draw lessons and tips from these traditional, long-standing, evolved forms of forest gardens. So let's take a look at some of the common systems found around the world. Some of the best studied gardens of the world are found in the Indian subcontinent and in Southeast Asia. Studies have been done on the vital, positive economic and health impacts of these systems, and we're now starting to understand the value that they have in the cultures, to the environment, to their cuisines, to health and happiness and economic well-being alike. Others found throughout Africa, such as in Madagascar, where forest gardening is being studied in a way to combat poverty and improve health. And traditional forest gardens are even found in temperate and Mediterranean climates, such as the dehesas of Spain and Portugal, where fruits, almonds, pork, and cork oaks are grown together in dryland forest systems appropriate to the climate. These are a great example of community forms of forest gardens managed collectively. The Satayama system of Japan is another system that rides the border between community use and for foraging and private land ownership. These systems have become an important foraging place and an important element of Japanese traditional cuisine. One can say the same for the hedgerow culture of Western Europe, which divide properties, enclose fields, line roads, fill picnic baskets with fruits, salads, and medicinal herbs that are culturally very important. If you're starting to see a pattern here with the cultural importance of these traditional forest gardens, you're not alone. Academic forest garden researchers such as Douglas McConnell have noted this cultural and religious role of forest garden systems and their inseparability from the cultures they're found in. Meanwhile, the traditional European cottage garden, which mingled fruits, vegetables, flowers, and medicines together in a half-wild profusion, is a classic example of a forest garden system that's very similar to their tropical counterparts in the home garden. The mosaic woodlands of Eastern Europe, along with the Straubst of Germany, are yet another example that have been recognized as culturally important by their own governments and are now protected institutions. Like hedgerows and the Japanese Sariyama, they have been recognized for their ability to maintain soil and local biodiversity, providing habitat for wildlife, and protecting farmland from wind and flood damage, in addition to their powerful cultural impact that gives the landscapes of these countries their distinctive feel. And finally, it's important to point out that many academics are now recognizing the food forest concept in the managed food woodlands of the Americas, with the eastern woodland and the Amazon commonly being called anthropogenic, man-made forests, which were controlled by use in periodic burns. So what can we modern forest gardeners learn from these systems? What do they have in common? First of all, the point of these systems is not to maximize yield, because maximizing yield comes with costs, increased fuel and energy consumption, increased soil loss, and decreased sustainability. These systems are instead about flexibly meeting people's needs while minimizing the inputs. This is accomplished by stepping aside and letting nature do some more of the work for us. Second, all these systems are very high in diversity, often having hundreds of species per acre. Diversity is another key lesson for us to pay attention to, since diversity helps prevent disease, pest, and weed problems, and increases plant health, diversifies our diets, and helps ensure good yields throughout the season, even in years with rough weather. Third, all these systems are integrated into culture and have integrated social spaces and uses. In many cases, it is this cultural value that's helped these systems survive. It's the cultural value that keeps people arguing that these systems need to be preserved. If we plan great social spaces into our forest gardens, then it's less likely that someone else will come along later and remove them to make room for social space. And it ensures that our landscapes remain useful to us in addition to being productive. And finally, all of these systems are treasured for their aesthetics. They're beautiful places to be, and they enhance the beauty and cultural character of a community, in addition to providing food, fuel, craft materials, and medicine. So with that said, next we'll look at the main physical characteristics that define food forest garden systems like these. Can you guess what some of those are? So thanks for stopping by and watching, and please stop by www.lilliehouse.blogspot.com to learn more about forest gardening. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.